Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are decoding the financial report from NeOnc Technologies, and trust me, this one has more twists than a soap opera, so stay tuned because it's going to be a bumpy ride. I think they've got some interesting financial engineering we can take a look at. If you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. NeOnc Technologies, a company developing treatments for brain diseases, just released their Form 10Q. It is basically a quarterly financial snapshot. The most important thing is it's not pretty. There is something that's called a going concern warning, basically telling everyone they might not be around for much longer. Let's dig into how they are doing financially to understand why. First, let's look at the balance sheet, the snapshot of their finances. Their cash jumped from only $64,893 at the end of last year to over $5.4 million this quarter. But don't get too excited yet, this is smoke and mirrors. On the liabilities side, meaning what they owe, things are much worse. Total current liabilities, what they owe short term, more than doubled, skyrocketing to over $18 million. Most of it is a huge jump in what they owe to related parties for advisory fees. Let's check their income statement, which shows their performance. First, revenue. It barely registers, only $39,990 quarter. Now, operating expenses, meaning how much it costs them to run the company, that's where things get really interesting. Operating expenses went through the roof, a huge jump to over $37.6 million in fees. Share-based compensation is how much they gave away of the company in form of stock. It's equity that they're using to pay people. Clate, so in other words, over 23 million interest in stock, over 11 millions in advisory fees, and that's why they have over 38 million in losses for the last 3 months. The result of all this is a net loss of over $38 million, translating to a loss of $2.80. It was just 18 cents per share. That's a massive increase in losses. Next, let's look at the cash flow statement. It tells you where the cash came from and where did it go. Tap the net cash used in operating activities. So basically they burned through $5.6 million this quarter. But how did they boost their cash reserves so dramatically? The answer lies in the cash flow from financing activities. They raked in over $11 million from selling more of their common stock. So they sell shares to get cash to pay their expenses. Now let's dive deeper into some of these concerning details. The related party transaction section is a goldmine. It tells you basically how they interact with people who are closely connected with the company. First, we see this AFH Holdings advisory agreement. Basically, the company paid out an advisory fee of $11.3 million to this AFH company for advisory services. And get this, they pay them more over time through monthly installments. But it looks like AFH is associated with some important people. What I'm trying to say is it's not just some random consultant they hired. This kind of thing is a big red flag. Then there are loans with the executive chairman. They borrowed and repaid $300,000, but paid another $300,000 just to borrow that money for a short time, which cost the company big bucks. Now let's dive into something that will change your perspective. The company basically has a deal to sell almost 8 million more shares of stock at $16 a share in what they call an equity purchase agreement. In the end, that means less of the pie for all other shareholders. To finalize, listen what the report itself says, not me. There is this liquidity section that is basically legally obligating them to point out they might not be around long enough, and there is substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. They are burning nearly $1 million per quarter in research. Cried, looking at these numbers, it's pretty clear to me that NeOnc Technologies is in a precarious situation. The jump in cash on hand is overshadowed by a massive increase in liabilities, indicating they are selling stock, which helps them stay afloat, but also dilutes current shareholders a lot, and not always for business activities. The huge losses driven by stock compensation and advisory fees to related parties are a major concern. It seems like an insider enrichment machine. While they're making progress with their research, their ability is highly questionable. It seems like the company is dependent on raising cash through financing, and there is significant risk in whether or not they will be able to do that. Alright, that's our breakdown of NeOnc's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.